Hello readers, this is the B-Side Book Reviews, and today we're going to take a look at Inside Hollywood. Behind the scenes for all of us wannabe screenplay writers and actors and producers and directors and everybody who dreams of being in La La Land. Who, yes, open this book and uncover the real Hollywood. It's written by a guy named John Morgan Wilson, a 30-year veteran of Hollywood, who is still with us, by the way. So, this is a book about the works of the movie business. So, grab a cup of coffee and join me as we take a look at Inside Hollywood. And this is empty, by the way. It's a prop, just like they use in Hollywood. Everything you've ever wanted to know about living and working in Tinseltown. This book begins with the history of Hollywood from its humble beginnings. And then it takes the reader through the journey of the movie industry, telling the highs, the lows, the scandals, the fortunes, the losses, and of course the nuts and bolts of the movie business itself. Of course, it doesn't just cover movies, but TV as well, and describes the rating systems, the pilots, the syndication, and more blah, blah, blah. Now the book goes on to cover actors, their publicists, their agents, and even their downfalls and scandals. Not to mention a lot more blah, blah, blah. Of course, our provocative yet educational book doesn't leave out the writers and directors. And like a textbook for the super cool movie-minded, it pretty much breaks movies down from the birth of the idea, through the screenwriting process, through the pitching, and the sale, the production meetings, and the actual distribution of the film. Or, in other words, blah, blah, blah. Indeed, everything that everybody wanted to know about every aspect of Hollywood. And why everyone should avoid the place like the freaking plague. Yeah. Say that again. Yeah. This book gives the ideas to all of us wannabe writers and actors that maybe, maybe we should have majored in accounting or taken that bank job that was offered to us. Okay, it was just a follow-up interview. But you never know what it might have led to. Now this book even gives us a nifty list of catchphrases and covers the cool, trendy restaurants where all the beautiful people are hanging. Of course, this book is probably 25 years old, which means all the catchphrases are so 1990s. And all the beautiful people, well, they have probably moved on down the street by now. Blah, blah, blah. Now, the enjoyment of this book would depend entirely on your interest in the film industry. If you like the movies, movie stars, and want to know more about the works of the movie world, this book rocked. Now, what set this book apart from most of the movie industry books I've read was the detailed outlook on the town of Hollywood itself. The geography, the dangers, earthquakes, the trendy uptown hotels and restaurants, And it even had an entire section devoted to the scandalous life of all of those celluloid heroes we all know and love. Now, another cool and provocative feature about this book was the many references it gave concerning the business, such as books and movies and organizations and unions and more blah, blah, blah. Okay. The worst part about this book was when it says, if you haven't met success by the time you're 40 years old, you're not going to. Bummer, dude. Don't fret, though. You still have your employee discount at Jack in the Box. Now, what kept this book interesting was the way it was broken down into many different subjects. Now, if it was simply a writing book, or a production book, or a book about the city itself, it might have gotten bogged down into, too many details. However, the way it jumped around from one subject to another, like an episode in the Game of Thrones, I found the writing style exciting and interesting. Then again, some might have found that more confusing than an episode of the Game of Thrones. Certainly not as thick. This book was nearly 300 pages long. But don't despair, reader, for there's lots of lists to be skimmed through. Ooh, and pictures. Some flowcharts. Our Hollywood book is broken down into so many different subjects and sections. Well, I never found it the least bit grueling. Now, one page you're reading about the Oscars, and then you're reading about how some disenchanted actress killed herself by jumping off the H in the Hollywood sign. And then you'll be reading about how, you'll probably never amount to much in the movie business. Yeah, way to mix it up, guys. You've depressed me in so many interesting and provocative ways. Maybe I'll just go jump off the W. Oh boy. So that was Inside Hollywood. Kind of an interesting book. I kind of like the eye there giving you the inside look. It's a lot different from a lot of the, get these books, from all the other writing books I've read in my life. These are more about how to actually write. This book, on the other hand, talks more about the actual workings of the movie world, so to speak. And like I said, kind of gives you the insight that you don't have a chance in pursuing your dream. Oh well, it's still fun to write, but that just means you could go read a book